China is getting ready for World War III. In 2014, China began constructing military islands in the sea within the borders of other countries. These fake islands were equipped with ports, air bases, and anti-aircraft systems, and in just 2 years, China had built 7 of them without the permission of the other countries within those borders they were constructed. The U.S. Army experts believe that these islands have the highest chance of instigating World War III. So why is China so willing to start a war just to control these parts of the sea? But before we dive deeper into that topic, did you know what makes the South China Sea so important? This body of water is a marginal sea in the Pacific Ocean, and several countries including South China, the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Indonesia bound it. It's believed to have around 28 billion barrels of oil reserves and 266 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. It holds 1/3 of the world's entire marine habitat. Despite the other countries' claims to the territory, China insists that the South China Sea belongs to them. They've been expanding their control over the region, causing tension and conflict with the neighbors. Chinese vessels do not play nice with anyone. They feel like the owners of the South China Sea and constantly violate the marine borders of other countries in a rather aggressive manner. So why is China so adamant about controlling the South China Sea? The answer lies in their need for resources and their desire for power and control in the region. China's economy relies heavily on imports, and they view the South China Sea as a strategic location to ensure their imports can reach them straight. By controlling the sea, China can also expand its influence in the region and ensure that other countries are dependent on them. All of this has led to a tense situation in the area, with several countries scrambling to assert their territorial claims while also trying to avoid conflict with China. It's a complicated issue that has far-reaching consequences for the global public. And with China's increasing aggression, it's essential to stay informed and aware of what's happening in this part of the world. The South China Sea is a critical region, not just because it's a crucial part of the ecosystem, but also because it's a major trade route for the world. Imagine in 2019 alone, about 3.37 trillion worth of global trade passed through the South China Sea. That's a lot of money. Due to its reliance on oil imports to power its economy and industries, China has a significant stake in the South China Sea. Roughly 50% of Chinese oil imports come from the Middle East, and that oil sails through the South China Sea. Additionally, a large part of China's exports flows through the South China Sea to the rest of the world, making it a crucial part of their economic growth. Now here's the thing. Whom does the South China Sea belong to? According to international law, each country's sovereign territorial waters extend to a maximum of 12 nautical miles beyond its coast. Foreign vessels are granted the right of innocent passage through the zone beyond its territorial waters. Every coastal country may establish an exclusive economic zone extending 200 nautical miles from the shore. Here's where things get complicated. China has its made-up 9-dash line that covers almost 90% of the South China Sea, and the CCP calls that it's all part of China. According to their reasoning, a Chinese explorer discovered the South China Sea, so therefore it belongs to China. That's like saying Italy should own China because Marco Polo discovered it. This made-up 9-dash line has led to controversial situations with other countries. China swarming and threatening previously unoccupied beaches in the South China Sea. They even went as far as building their military islands in the disputed area. Several countries in the area of conflict have officially renamed the region in that they claimed to assert their sovereignty, but the CCP has chosen to ignore these actions against them. In 2016, the Philippines won a ruling from The Hague claiming that China had encroached on their land, but the Chinese Communist Party has refused to acknowledge it. Adding insult to injury, China has declared the airspace above the disputed land a defensive zone, demanding that foreign aircraft seek Chinese permission to fly through. But the conflict doesn't end there. Enter the Spratly Islands, a group of landmasses in the middle of the South China Sea that every country wants a piece of. These islands are the key to expanding exclusive economic zones. As it turns out, they have ruled a rock in the same 2016 ruling. However, China has been using a devious strategy called the cabbage strategy to choke out its supplies to foreign-controlled islands by surrounding them with their ships and destroyers. The situation has escalated so much that the US Navy is now monitoring rules in the region, maintaining peace and ensuring that world trade can continue without interruption. But as China's aggression grows, tensions continue to escalate.
I'm a United States military aircraft conducting lawful military activities outside national airspace. I am operating with due regard as required under international law. Go!
It's a complicated situation and one that's going to take more than one video to cover, except for more content about this topic. But we are not finished. The rising tensions between the US and China have been a source of concern for many years, and the situation in the South China Sea is a major flashpoint. The recent moves by China to enforce its sovereignty over the region have only served to further complicate the situation. The US Navy has been playing a critical role in maintaining peace and stability in the area, and its increased presence is a testament to the importance of this issue. One of the key factors in the conflict is the Spratly Islands, which are claimed by multiple countries in the region. These islands have become a focal point in the dispute, as they offer the potential for expanded economic zones and greater control over the surrounding waters. However, a 2016 ruling found that the Spratly Islands are, in fact, rocks and do not extend any country's exclusive economic zone. This ruling was a blow to China's claims over the area, but it has not stopped them from using aggressive tactics to try and gain control. China has been employing a strategy known as the cabbage strategy, or salami slicing strategy, where they surround foreign-controlled islands with their ships and destroyers to deny access to rival nations. This allows China to subsequently claim the islands and gain more control over the surrounding waters. The US Navy has responded by increasing its presence in the area to ensure that peace is maintained and international commerce is not disrupted. The importance of the South China Sea cannot be understated, as it has implications for the entire global community. The U.S. commitment to freedom of the seas has helped underwrite American prosperity and security, and this commitment must be upheld. If China is allowed to undermine the UN's law of the sea, it raises the question of what other laws they might break in the future. The recent actions of China in the South Sea, particularly in breaking their promises to follow the Declaration of Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea, are a cause for concern. The CCP's actions in the region are once again picking up steam, and this is leading to rising tensions between the US and China. It remains to be seen how this situation will be resolved, but one thing is clear: the importance of the South China Sea cannot be ignored. China's aggressive actions in the South China Sea have been causing tensions with neighboring countries, and the situation is only getting worse. While talks about the Code of Conduct, or COC, were promising at first, intending to resolve by 2021, recent reports suggest that China has decided to stop following the COC altogether. Bloomberg's report from December of last year showed that Chinese fishing fleets have been carrying out construction activities on unoccupied reefs, violating the COC's rule prohibiting such actions. The images of new land formations that have appeared above water at Eldad Reef in the northern Spratly, with large holes, debris piles, and excavator tracks, are a clear indication that China is not interested in a peaceful resolution. This move has prompted other nations in the region to increase their defense spending, and it's hard not to speculate on what the CCP is planning for the future. The truth is, there are many possibilities, but none of them are good for world peace. As tensions continue to escalate, it's important to keep a close eye on this situation. The situation in the South China Sea has been a source of increasing tension in recent years as China continues to assert its claims to the region, which include the construction of military bases on artificial islands in waters claimed by other countries. The disputed waters are not only important for their strategic value as a potential trade route, but also for the oil and natural gas reserves that lie beneath them, as well as for the marine habitats they sustain. China's insistence on asserting control over the South China Sea has led to territorial disputes and confrontations with neighboring countries like Vietnam, the Philippines, and Indonesia, who have also staked claims to the region. China has been known to engage in aggressive behavior in the area, including violating the territorial waters of other countries and harassing foreign vessels. The conflict over the South China Sea has become an international issue, with the United States and other Western powers expressing concern over China's actions and its territorial claims. The U.S. Navy has been monitoring the situation in the region and has conducted freedom of navigation operations to assert its right to operate in international waters. In addition, the U.S. has strengthened its military presence in the region, including the deployment of aircraft carriers and other assets, in response to China's increasing aggression. The dispute over the South China Sea has far-reaching consequences for the global economy, as the waters are a major trade route and are home to significant oil and natural gas reserves. China's control of the region would give it a strategic advantage over other countries in the region, and it could use its dominance to exert greater influence over global trade. While tensions in the region have not yet escalated into a full-blown conflict, the situation remains fragile, and any miscalculation or misstep could lead to a wider war. The international community has called for a peaceful resolution to the dispute, but the issue remains unresolved, and China's continued aggression in the area suggests the conflict is far from over.